I've seen this video all over my timeline in the past few days, and, well, after seeing, unfortunately, and listening to the video, because for some things that I'm going to disagree with Sameera, and, of course, the broader conversation, because it's mostly, once again, it just reinforces that 90 to 95% of people are thoroughly plugged in and don't really understand the difference between what makes a woman and a man attractive. We're going to have to talk about that, but reposting of this one video, okay, and I've seen a bunch of different reposts of it, but this thing has 48 million views. 48 million views, and well, we've used Sameera Khan, okay? We've used her as a source for, I think, some Tate stuff as well, and yeah, some of her takes are awfully based. Other ones, purposefully inflammatory. And, well, looks like she struck a nerve, because anything that's said contrary to keeping up and upholding the feminine imperative of greater society, well, of course it gets derided from everybody, and we could make an entirely comment-focused video. And there's only one that I really want to bring up, just goes ahead and reinforces the fact that intrasexual competition, even between a bunch of people that are never going to meet one another, nothing could ever, there is no man who is a bigger misogynist than your average woman critiquing another woman. Just going to go ahead and drive that home right there. Okay, and yeah, I don't really know somebody who's about as useful as non-alcoholic beer at a NASCAR race, what her business is when chiming in, talking about a legit beauty queen, somebody who won, I think, Miss New Jersey, one of those northeastern states, okay? Sameera did back in the cut. I'm going to say that she looks like the malevolent queen. Very interesting there. Hey, good job, Star Wars girl. If it wasn't for your overt sexuality, nobody would give a shit what you have to say online. But anyways, this accent needs to be illegal, and women should be banned from doing manual labor like this. Like I said, there's some things to like, and it's like, well, we can listen to the clip, okay? Because you might have seen this face, you might have seen it animated in the background, but to really drive it home, you have to listen to it, okay? And we're going to watch it, we're going to listen to it. It's only a minute long, okay? And we see if we can go ahead and parse out some of the lost nuance from the greater conversation.
Good morning, y'all. Quick update on the house, because I've been pretty terrible about giving y'all these.
See, I think you could probably already guess what I'm going to agree with Sameera on is the least attractive accent. Okay, I'm sure there's probably some dialects, mostly made up of clicks and beeps that are probably a little bit more atrocious, but for me personally, okay? The only thing that rivals that, yeah, southern, yeah, y'all, with the high-pitched twang at the end with a bit of an uptalk. The only thing that's less attractive is probably like Ontario Canadian or French Canadian. That shit drives me insane with the long, drawn-out vowels, eh? Or they, no, we like to talk at that, okay, all of that stuff. It drives me up a wall, but that deep south accent, ugh, yeah, okay, ban it off the face of the earth, okay?
We took a little break for noodling season and to put out boxes. Now that it's dried in, we can do it at our own pace. But here she is. We're gonna stain all that wood a darker brown, and the shutters when we get that on. We'll have handrails, of course. There's the carport over there. Quick run through.
Hey, kudos to her. I don't know if there's going to be, copyright claims in the background for the radio. Let's say YouTube's a really dumb place, but hey, at least trying to keep the workplace as mud-free as possible. Shout out to her for that one. That's the feminine instinct kicking in.
These trusses are going to be exposed, and we're going to have old tin in the ceiling. Nice. Got Daddy and Paul up there.
So yeah, obviously, she's going through the house. Do we need to play the rest of it? Okay, she goes through the back and shows everything else that her and her boyfriend or something like that are doing out, okay?
I'll try to be better about these, but you can also use my code Hannah25 for 25% off We the People holsters. Hope y'all have a good one. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, okay, We the People holsters. So, okay, yep, showing off everything that her quote-unquote brand is all about, okay? Once again, just really leaning into the whole patriotic thing. We the people, we got the gun holsters and all that stuff. It's like, okay, that's totally fine. You and every other one of those trad thoughts that are out there are pimping the exact same stuff. Wrapping yourself in the American flag and co-opting the same talking points. It's like, okay, we get it. It's totally fine. There's nothing feminine about American women. I agree. Wholeheartedly. And to be completely honest, well, as cool as it is, okay, to see, just a house being made completely from the ground up, the expert skill that's on display right here and all the plans that are there, nothing about this is attractive, okay, unless you're looking at house creation as an art, which, yeah, it can be, okay, architecture is a classification art in certain sense, but competency, the ability to create from nothing, those are traditionally male attraction triggers for females, okay? Men in general, okay? If they're being honest, or, you know, hey, just take a look at the literature, the studies, and just simple common sense, nobody screens. Nobody screens for a wife or a mother of their children if they can swing a hammer. That's not exactly high on the requisites. American women are literally men. I understand why this post hit a nerve. I understand why she continues to go on a lot of a different posts like this thread. Obviously, 48 million views on the initial tweet, and then Lebanese women are literally perfect. Okay, you're just trying to stump for your own chicks. Okay, they're actually feminine, unlike estrogen deficient American women. That's yeah, up for debate. And of course, it ends up getting, you know, community noted. Which for every one good community note, there's been about a dozen bad ones who hold the record for the highest testosterone levels in the world. Yeah, probably. I don't think that that's wrong. I don't necessarily know. Mostly because, again, anything that would paint women in a bad light in the Western world, never going to be able to properly quantify that. Estrogen deficient, yeah, you take a look, it's like there's a lot of excess estrogen that's in your, you know, your water that's out there, because the proper way that wastewater treatment facilities run in the Western world don't really screen for estrogen. So if you drink a lot of tap water, you end up getting inundated with a lot of the excess hormones in the water, thanks to the advent. Once again, you can just go ahead and point back to the mid-60s with the advent to the hormonal birth control pill, because how do you think it gets into the water system? There you go. Without being graphic, I can allow you to just think that through logically. I value American men should become passport bros. Now you start ascribing should, could, and would to this stuff, and here's the problem, man. Feminism is going everywhere. Might not be as strong in certain places, but with the dissemination of Western media over these past few decades, okay, with the number of passport bros, guys that leave in order to, you know, escape the trappings of the modern Western woman, okay? Basically, that's the high-level interpretation. We can break it down further if we want, but just for the simple context of this video, passport bros, guys that leave, go to other places around the world, not specifically Southeast Asia, even though that's where your stereotypical passport bro goes, to Thailand, Bangkok, you know, all the same places, right? But the reason where passport bros just continue to fail abroad is because if you're a loser in America, you're going to be a loser around the world, okay? If you lead wallet first, well, guess what, okay? Female nature is universal. The hardware might change, but the software is exactly the same. Can't pick up chicks in the West. Don't even bother trying to find a higher quality woman, because guess what? You can easily find a high quality woman in the West. It's going to require a little bit more work. And of course, you can take a look at the statistics and realize that, what, 80%, and just about 80% are overweight, if not obese at this point in time. They have more tattoos than a standard biker bar. Pop antidepressants like Pez and chase it down with whatever flavor of vodka they have within reach. Like, it's not exactly the highest caliber of chicks, but you'd be delusional to think that, oh, okay, I could just get a stamp on my passport and then I could just get a 10 off the street. It doesn't happen like that, okay? If you're a loser here, you're going to be a loser abroad. Don't they deserve better than the filth they are limited to in their own country? Yeah, here's why I kind of disagree. Most men, okay, for the damning statistics that are out there when it comes to women, okay, and it's not lost on me why this chick is getting so much attention, right? Like, here's one of her noodling and all that stuff. You wonder why people are running to her defense, okay? You wonder why. Oh, exactly, because she's not a ham planet. Doesn't come across as being narcissistic, even though she spends an awful lot of time on herself, you know, with her midriff exposed. You're working, it's probably hot where you're at if, you know, you're putting up the house like that and you're just taking time to do social media stuff, but you need a certain level of narcissism to be a content creator, okay? And then to also show your competency and to show your aptitude to do things that, okay, that not every other girl, not normal girls would do, okay? Building a home, going fishing, going hunting. And again, when you think of hunters, going fishing, building, do you think reasonably attractive 5.5 foot tall women with deep South accents? No, of course not. It's just her way to differentiate herself from the pack, because, okay, she's not like most women, okay, from an aesthetic perspective and in those specific vocations. But when you take yourself and put yourself on the line, she's kind of run of the mill. She looks like everybody else who's out there. I'm not taking it away from her. She's like a reasonably attractive chick, okay? She's in good shape. She's got great eyes, okay? It's just how many other of those chicks that are out there that have less talent and also less shame. And of course, running it down Melania Trump is the ideal. Back in the cut, yeah, I guess. Okay, that's once again her perspective on that. Her perspective, which totally allowed to give. It's just whenever it comes to dating and attraction advice about men in regards to women, I take a woman's perspective about as well as I would take your average blue-pilled chump. Okay, like it doesn't mean all that much. Now, of course, it gets bombarded because if you think that American women are the most physically attractive, like, I don't know, did you have to fill that in? Was your 300-pound girlfriend or wife leaning over your shoulder like you're out of your absolute mind? Okay, Lebanese women, I don't really know. Don't really have that big of a pool to pull from, but okay. And then Eastern European women, it's like, that's top of the list. Like, come on, man. Nordic and Slavic women, like, come on, man. You're kidding yourself if you think that, your average rank and file American chick, because that's what you got to pull from. Your regular 176 pound, 5'5" American woman. You think that she's gonna hold a candle to Svetlana in the streets of Moscow? Yeah, I don't really think so. It's not comparable, man. Yeah, man, Sameera just continues to post more and more that's down there. Here's your tomboy girl, and I've already seen, okay, just the different posts that are down there of this chick, okay? Yeah, okay, I got cinder blocks and all that stuff, and you can take a look at my feet, and I'm showing off a bunch of my stuff, and it's like, that's absolutely fine, man,
and when
okay?
I jumped up, I had my son.
Geez, yeah, okay, there she is, just showing off once again. But she's reasonably attractive, but throw her into the deep end of the social media influencer sphere, and well, be able to get the bottled water for some of the better bitches that are out there, if we're going to be completely honest, which a lot of people, as has been pointed out here, okay, also all the straight men cooming over her and the replies would be embarrassed to see her in embarrassed to be seen with her in public. No, because this is what's wrong with a lot of these chicks who are plugged in, or unplugged. RP chicks, okay, even though she doesn't want to claim it, but she's spouting the same talking points. It's like, okay, cool, just take a look in the mirror and just realize exactly where you're at, okay? You're here now, brah. Just reconcile with that. You have to realize that, like I said, 85, I would say probably closer, 90, maybe close. It's probably single digits, the amount of guys that can just disassociate from the failed mindset that has permeated the West since at least the 60s, maybe even before that. Oh no, all of those guys would be more than happy to have their girl be a famous social media influencer who's in decent shape, probably above decent shape, okay? She's a 6, which is better than, vast majority of the chicks in your community. I will guarantee that. Imagine her being your date to a formal event. Yeah, and here's the thing. They would be more than happy to do that because in the grand scheme of things, the West has been totally lost. My opinion on the situation is completely and totally irrelevant, okay? In a vacuum, yeah, like I said, decently attractive. I don't really like the overtly patriotic, we the people, oh, she's a gun girl. It's like, okay, cool, she likes firearms. That doesn't make my dick any more or less hard. She can swing a hammer. Fantastic. Those little clues also leave tips as to what type of personality she's gonna hold, and guess what? Beauty's the door opener. Okay, it's like if you're buying a new car and the salesman comes over and says, hey, you're going to love this new car because guess what? It has wheels. Shout out to Patrice O'Neill for that analogy. It's like, okay, cool. It's kind of the bog standard. That's the requirement for why I'm here. And then, yeah, the personality is definitely going to help out in the long-term sense. Well, if she's going to be demonstrating masculine behaviors like that, that's going to be a bit of a problem in the long term. Okay, they're going to manifest in different ways. Not saying it's unworkable. It's just, as Sameera is also very clumsily pointing out, that, okay, if you were to craft your ideal woman, the materials that you're wanting to use, are you going to want to use the finest clay possible? Or are you just going to try to make it out of the best pile of shit that you can find out in the field? The choice is yours, Western man, where you want to go, simply for you to decide. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.